Welcome back. Well, GST on medicines have been cut from 5 to 5% from around 12%. In fact, GST is reduced to 5% from 12% for diagnostic kits, blood glucose monitors, various devices, bandages as well. We're now joined by Himanshu Baid, the Managing Director at Polymedicure, as well as Ameera Shah, Executive Chairperson at Metropolis. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Thanks a lot for joining in. Well, Mr. Baid, coming across to you first, you've also done an acquisition. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But, duties coming down should spell good times for your business. I think a third of your business comes in from India. So tell us your reading, what kind of a positive impact it could have?
I think, we have three different structures, 5%, 12% and 18%. Everything gets collapsed to 5%. So I think this will spur demand, especially for essential healthcare products, so especially used in, home care, area like thermometers and glucometers and all that. And for hospitals, the cost for medical devices will come down from, let's say, with a reduction in GST. And as they are nil rated, so they don't get any benefit for higher GST rates. So as the GST comes down, I think the cost of treatments for patients will also come down. So it's very, very positive for the industry.
Okay, all right. Got that. We'll try to get some numbers out of you, Himanshu, in just a bit. But Ameera, coming across to you, diagnostic companies, well, they should benefit because of lower capital cost and lower raw material cost as well. Do you believe it's a possibility you could quantify it, in terms of basis points, the outlook on the whole?
See, this is a landmark reform that the government has done, and frankly, at Nat Health and obviously from all of us, we've been pleading with the government for a long time, saying because we don't charge GST to the consumer, we have all these input costs with no actual offset. So this actually gives an opportunity now to be able to have a lower GST input cost. Because medtech has come down and reagents and chemicals, the GST has come down from 18 to 5. That will certainly expand access for the industry. It will create a fairer competition playing field between the unorganized and the organized. And also, as Himanshu mentioned, the rates were all across the board earlier. I think that will definitely aid in ease of doing business because you have now one GST slab versus multiple. And the biggest one, I think, which is the most beneficial for consumers, is that with insurance, GST coming down from 18 to 5, as well as from, like you said, glucometers and other areas, this actually is a direct benefit to customers, right? It significantly makes it cheaper for them. And I think it'll really expand access to health insurance through this.
Ameera, on diagnostics, will we see price cuts, price reductions for consumers on tests, etc.?
It's difficult to tell because diagnostics has already been obviously a very, very competitive pricing already because of competition. You have to remember that GST was not really applicable to the consumer at all. It's only on the input cost, and that also not everybody in the industry has actually been bearing it. So actually, more than anything else, it will create a little bit more of a fairer platform for people. And hopefully it will create a better sustainable healthcare ecosystem where you can make more investment in the industry.
But Ameera, just to understand, now for any diagnostics lab, whether it's surgical equipment, gloves, consumables, I think bandages also. So on a lot of these items, testing kits, and on a lot of these items, the GST gets lowered. But as customers, we don't pay individually for these items. We just pay for the cost of the test. So how will the benefit be passed on to the customer?
Like I said, it's difficult to tell at this point of time. Like I said, there's two different separate, right? On the retail insurance and on the glucometers, there's a direct benefit to the consumer, right? Because the consumer was paying 18%, now it's 5%, there's a direct benefit. In this case, it all depends on whether the hospitals or the buyers of these reagents and chemicals are able to see benefit in their P&Ls and are therefore able to pass on part of it. You have to remember that the organized sector or the ethical organized sector, which was actually paying GST, was making significantly lower margins than obviously the sector that was just not paying GST at all, which was actually majority of the sector. So this actually creates more of now a level playing field versus anything else. So whether or not you're going to land up seeing a big, dip in prices is very difficult to tell at this point.
So if there is no dip in prices across diagnostic chains, then there should be a margin improvement. Either one has to happen.
You're right. Either one has.
Yeah. So should we expect better margins for Metropolis or for the overall industry if there is no cut in pricing for tests?
It really is too difficult to tell at this point because I think the news has just come out. I think everybody will have to go back to their companies and really look at what is going to be the impact for them. and what is going to be there for a potential benefit that could be created for the consumer, or whether it's going to be a margin expansion. I think it's, I think the next 15, 20 days, everyone will do their own analysis and make their own courses.
Okay, all right. Let's come back to you, Mr. Baid. Then you have done an acquisition in Europe as well. You've done it at roughly EV upon sales, I think it's around 2 times. What's the plan with regard to this acquired business? It was doing around 10 million euros last year, and I think around 1.5 million euros of EBITDA. How do you see this business scaling up?
See, Nigel, if you remember, we started our cardiology business just a few months ago. And to scale up globally, this was the best option for us, because this company has all the regulatory approvals needed to sell products in Europe, and also it has a US FDA approval. So this gives us a leverage to enter the European market very quickly with our products. And also we'll be able to, get synergies and cost savings and R&D benefits across both the companies. So this company is also, doing R&D on some cutting edge technology, and some products are going to be launched in future also. So all in all, I think it gives us a huge strength in the cardiology business going forward. And we are looking at it as a strategic asset. And again, there are a lot of synergies in distribution network. We can leverage our network, global network. We can leverage their network, and there are a lot of partnerships coming with this acquisition. So this will help a lot in the long way.
Sorry, what does this, Himanshu, what does this allow you to do, Pendra Care Group?
See, they are in interventional cardiology there. So basically, guiding catheters, diagnostic catheters, using angiography, angioplasty. So these are products we have just recently launched in India. So we get a, full, range of products which is already established in Europe. So we don't have to go through clinical trials. Or if we had to go through, we would have waited 3-4 years for this. But now we have a direct access into the market immediately with these products, and we can help them to reduce costs also. And, help up improving the margins. And also whatever we are developing in India, this will become our let's say, our springboard for the European market.
It's doing margins of around 15% right now. You do higher margins. So do you see in the next 2-3 years, you're trying to bring this acquired unit, at par with what you are doing currently? Yeah, and from around this 10 million euros, where do you see it headed? What kind of pace of growth?
So we are looking, Nigel, when the synergies kick in, we are looking at margin improvement, maybe 2 to 3 million euros of, let's say synergies coming through margin improvements across both the companies. And then if you look at the growth rate, let's say by 2030, we should look at, a growth rate, number close to around 25 million euros for this company in terms of revenue. So maybe a CAGR of 23 to 25%.
Okay, well, those are good numbers, which I think we'll watch out for. Himanshu and Ameera, thank you both for joining us. Really great to get those insights from the both of you at this point in time. So that's, medical equipment business and, of course, healthcare on the diagnostic side, getting you a sense of what's happening